I bet this motor's never been cleaned in the 60,000 miles this truck has been traveling. So what we're going to do while the motor is turned off, we're again going to use the all-purpose cleaner to give it a thorough spray down to loosen all the dirt and all the grit that's definitely all over this motor. So there's a reason we're detailing the motor on the Suburban and not the Ferrari. There's a lot of very exotic technology in some of these supercars, like this little F355 over there. Older Mercedes Benz, older BMWs, anything that's made by Land Rover. Suburban, no problem. You can pretty much clean the motor of any American car, no problem. The kicker is, we're gonna wanna then start the motor. If anything happens that's a little sketchy, boom, you either stop spraying the water or you could cause a little bit of damage. So I'm just about done spraying this guy down now. Also important to know, if it's really windy, don't clean your motor, because you don't want the all-purpose cleaner going all over your car. You don't want to have degreaser of any sort on your paint just sitting there. I'm just about ready to give it a scrub. I'm actually going to use the same brush that we used on the tires and the wheel wells. Get it nice and wet first, and then I'm just going to go ahead and clean whatever's dirty. If it starts to dry, re-wet the brush. Don't hose off the motor halfway through. Better to keep the degreaser full strength on there to make sure that you're going to get maximum effectiveness, and that's going to be able to really clean all this really caked on stuff, which is all over this motor. If you have a more delicate motor and you want to clean it, go ahead and use the boar's hair brush. The boar's hair brush is very effective also as a cleaning tool, and you can go ahead and get a much more gentle approach to cleaning a motor with that. Okay, I'm just about done giving this a scrub down. Now, before we go ahead and put water on the motor, we're going to go ahead and start the motor. Using the fire hose nozzle, I want to have it on a very low setting with a very wide spray, okay? And the reason I'm starting the motor is that if anything happens while I'm spraying, I want to stop spraying immediately so that I don't cause any damage. Now, what can happen? You can trip a sensor. You can actually get one of the ignition points wet. There's things that can happen. Usually there's nothing that's that fatal that's going to happen. So be careful and don't use a major stream of water. See the nice light spray. Just like before, I want to be very careful also to minimize the amount of water getting on the paint. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do before going ahead and washing the rest of the car, I'm going to blast off the underside of the hood, okay? The underside of the hood is typically very dirty. So, I'm going to set the sprayer to stream, and I'm going to give it a little spray down. Instead of using the rough brush, I'm going to use the boar's hair brush to go ahead and do all of the paint on this side. Now that's to make sure I don't want to scratch this. This is a painted surface just like the outside of your car. You don't want to use any kind of a brush that you use on your tires or undercarriage or wheel wells on any painted surface. I'm also going to go ahead and get the inside of the fender wells and any of the other spots that are painted under the hood at the same time. So now the race is on. Why is the race on? Because now I've got some water absolutely on the paint. So now I need to immediately move to wash this thing. Okay, excellent.